his shoulder, dislocated shoulder, went back in easy, but the prognosis of him being fit and very, very, very best case scenarios, he might be able to get for the first test. So it looks like he's going to go and get scanned, but we just had a chat and we're looking that we're going to have to replace him.
When you say replace him, does that mean that Alun Wyn wouldn't travel down at all to South Africa? Yeah. His tour is over.
That's right.
Which is obviously devastating news.
Yeah, and very disappointing, but he's been around rugby long enough and he's going to be gutted, but yeah, it is very disappointing for him, and so yeah, look, and you know, it's kind of like one of those things you've got to put that behind you and move on as quickly as you possibly can.
Justin Tipurich also went off. Can you give us an update on him, please, Ron?
He got a sting in the shoulder, so we're just going to check just to make sure on a scan that there's no nerve damage, which would, if there was any nerve impingement or damage, then that could rule him out. But at the moment, we're pretty confident he's going to be okay. It's just a stinger in the shoulder, but we'll have to wait and see from that.
Just finally from me, I mean, a good win today, but those two injuries take the shine off everything, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And, I think we just before kick-off, Jack Conan's hamstring was a little bit tight and he did brilliantly to get through 70 minutes, and we'd made the decision to take him off and just play with 14 men for the last 10 minutes or so. It wasn't worth, once that hammy just tightened up a little bit, it wasn't worth losing, potentially another player on before we even got on the plane.
Thank you.
Owen Slot, I can see you there. Owen, do you want to go next up? Sorry, I'm struggling to see who's on.
Yeah. So, Warren, similar question. Can you just clarify, are you waiting on a scan on Alun Wyn, or is that decision pretty much made already?
It's pretty much made. Yeah, I was speaking to the physios and I've spoken to Alun Wyn and sort of relayed. He understands that, like I said, very best case scenarios that he may get back for the test, but we need to call someone in and get him PCR tested and hopefully be able to get him on the flight with us tomorrow.
Do you know who that is yet?
We're discussing a couple of names at the moment, just with the coaches. I was doing that, was a priority, but unfortunately I got called away to do a press conference, so I'm kind of I'm going back to finalise that after I've spoken to you guys, and we'll make that call and have a discussion about who comes in, and also potentially who's going to sort of take over as tour captain as well.
Will you appoint a tour captain, or will you appoint a match-by-match captain for the next couple of weeks or couple of games?
I don't know yet. We haven't even really discussed that, so it's very, very early days for us, and we'll just get over the disappointment with Alun Wyn, and we'll make a decision whether we need to appoint someone to replace him to captain, or like you say, or we've got a leadership group that are pretty experienced. So it's not something that urgently needs to be done, but we're just aware of who potentially steps into that role.
Thank you.
Warren, shock about it. Running a bit of shock. It's probably one of the sort of worst case scenarios you could have had, isn't it?
Sorry, I missed that. What was?
Is everyone a bit of shock about it? It's probably one of your sort of worst case scenarios that could have happened today, isn't it?
No one's in shock, because if you're in shock and you kind of reflects back into the whole squad, and we understand that things are different. We've got to be fluid. We've got to be able to move on. We've got to be able to react and make decisions, and that's kind of the only way you can deal with it. If you kind of go into a shock scenario and look as though you're panicking about it, well, that's going to reflect, I think, badly on us. So, look, it's disappointing for Alun Wyn. It's disappointing if Justin Tipperick is not right, but we've just got to go right. Let's make the right decisions and do that as quickly as we possibly can in the calmest way that we possibly can as well.
And are you confident you do have a lot of strong leaders in the group, and you do have fitting candidates to replace Alun Wyn as captain?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, we've got some experience. I mean, some good young blood, and so 8 of those got to play the first time today for the Lions, and we've got some experience from the last couple of tours and experience from the last tour as well. So yeah, we've got a nice balance at the moment, and a fantastic group of men that have been with us the last couple of weeks. And yeah, so I think there'll be a lot of people who could step in to fulfil some of those roles.
Warren, can you just confirm, will Alun Wyn go home to Wales, or will he fly out with you tomorrow still?
No, go back to Wales.
Warren, just a question on South Africa. It looks like tomorrow night there might be an update on lockdowns over there, and they might have to increase the level of lockdown they're in. Have you guys had assurances that you'll still be able to do everything you plan to do, train, etc., move around when you get there? How will that work?
Yeah, we've had assurances from that. I think, if they do go into another lockdown and they cancel sport, they've said that won't affect the Lions in terms of training or in preparation in the matches.